Alright, this is what we called Sand Canyon when I was a kid, and still refer to it to this day. And the camera really doesn't show it, but it's deep gully. And you can see this little trail going off here. Walk down to the half sheds. There we go. I walked down here the other day. And so this little shelf, which I'll walk down and show you the rest of it, because I don't know when I'll be back. If I'll be back. You know how things are. But just a really deep gully, and my daddy, who was born in this area and lived in this area as a kid, he knew a lot about these places. I don't know if this has actually existed back in his time. I'm sure it did to some capacity. But as kids, we would I think we drove in here. I was parked right there. And then we would come down here, and I was too scared to, because I was little. But you can see how this trail goes right out there, that little thing. And I came out here the other day and I hated it, but it was still scared. I hate it because I sloughed off some of the sand, and I hope that I didn't cause any erosion because of it. Be careful, see how I slip there. Okay. Zoom out a little bit. Well, my sister was brave enough to do it. I was not. Sorry. You can see how that slipped off. Of course, this thing's been here way longer than I have. See, see how that goes up there? And we're still gonna go out here. And you can see there's some really, you can't really tell it, but that's really steep. And it just goes all the way around here. And as a kid, I just could not bring myself to come down this. I would go down this side, just kind of ease down, but walking on this was horrifying. My sister, one time, somehow coaxed me into coming down this. I don't know how she did it, but I got out here and I thought it was maybe somebody helped me. I thought it was the greatest thing, and I was standing on this little plot, or little flat plot spot. And then this goes down here. I kind of remember that. But down in the bottom here, which is really cool about this place, and you can see this is a high, deep ridge over there. There was colored sand down in here. And we would take Coke bottles, yes, glass bottles, and fill sand up in it, and you'd have all different kind of colors and things like that. And there's an old bucket down there. There's another one over there. Somebody just threw down in here. And, but this was you were brave if you could get out here in my book, because you see it just came right down. I've been in much scarier places since then. But this was a little playground we had that Daddy introduced us to. And I guess it's over this ridge. I have no idea. But he had a bulldozer. And we actually had two. But he would tell us that there was another one like this that was just down the way. And I'm thinking it was right over his hill. But he said that he took his dozer and filled it in. Now, this is government land, so I don't know if he was hired by them or if he didn't take it on himself to do it, I promise you. But he said it filled in. Another one, he said it was like this for whatever reason. I don't think he ever expanded or expounded on the fact of why. But this is Sand Canyon, and there's a high ridge over there, and it's just gullies going down through here. But in the mind of a child, it was like being in the mountains. I don't think there was any drama about coming down here, because I don't know how I did, but I think I came down off that side. You can see how that little high point right there. That's what I'm talking about. And we had this little spot. I don't remember. Maybe my sister does, but I don't. It's kind of like an additional step down from that one. Just to kind of give you a view in the back. I'm sure this just started as a little wash, and over time, sand just kind of gave way, created what I call the cliffs and deep ridges in here. There's another bucket down there, I didn't see. Well, since we're here, let's walk down there. Kind of telescope it there. Lots of things have changed. I'm not gonna lie, it makes me sad. The older you get, you look back on life and the little simple pleasures that you had, and this was one of them. When everything seemed right with the world, and everybody you loved was still alive, and just kind of give you a view from down below. This is the highest cliff, I would call it. You can see it's up there. And then this is a chevron bucket that was down in here. Looks like somebody shot it or over time. Yeah, I don't know if these were here or not. But let's go up here and show you this cliff. I don't know if you can tell kind of the scope of this this winter. And that's pretty steep. I imagine these buckets were maybe left by loggers at one point. And here's a new can, a newer style can. Coke, but it's still old. See that? I don't know if you can tell. I don't ever remember coming back up in here. On this edge, anyway. And that's an old steel can. You can tell by the pull tab. And that was a newer one over there with a pull tab. But that's still an old can over there. I mean, getting up that might be impossible because of all that sand. It may slow off. I don't know if there's a little creature's home over here. There's another can, another glass. Nah. Maybe sometime or another. But anyway, I wanted to just show you a little bit of my childhood. And we would come over here, on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon. We would ride, believe it or not. We'd take rides in between church on Sunday. And we would do things like this. Come over here and play. And I'll wax sentimental here since we're waxing sentimental. Is that, you know, as a parent, you love seeing your, well, a good parent loves seeing their kids happy and to play, because when you get older, you realize that time's just so limited. If you're smart, you realize it. And you want them to be happy because the world's so cruel. And you want them to have fun and enjoy life. And this is one of the little simple ways of that enjoyment, was to come out here and let us play. Looks like something made a little home in that. But again, waxing sentimental, the woods are quiet now, other than the birds, and there's no laughter, and there's no mom and daddy, and I've become a parent and try to do the same for my kids. But again, waxing sentimental. Amazing how a little old gully of sand brings back so many good memories. This is Sand Canyon, a place in my childhood that holds a lot of magic and memories. So we'll walk out one last time, and I'll be brave and won't be scared. And goodbye, little playground of my youth. I hear the echoes of the past. But you're silent. But good memories. Thank you. If my parents could hear me, thank you for giving me such a good childhood and bringing me to places like this that were simple and fun. Sand Canyon.